Hello everyone, thank you for clicking on this video. So this is a video all about braid outs. So I'm going to go over some tips on how to perfect your braid out. This is a braid out that I'm rocking right now. It's a pretty old braid out. I'm not sure how many days old it is, but it's pretty old. We've got some volume going on. We've got frizz. It's super stretched. So much movement. It feels so soft. A wash and go could never. A wash and go could never. I like to think that I've pretty much mastered and perfected the braid out, and I want to bring you guys in so that you can also master and perfect your braid outs. Also, I'm about to share some tips on how to perfect your braid out, including my nighttime routine using my reversible oh so curly satin pillowcase. So let's get right into it. Okay, so starting with the braid up process, including the products and how you apply them. Okay, so what type of product should you be using for your braid outs? I definitely recommend creams over using gels for a braid out. Reason being is that the nature of gels, they dry down hard, they get a gel cast, and they slick your hair down quite a lot. So when you unravel a braid that has been styled with gel, it's like the three strands of the braid are so stiff, there's no flexibility, and then when you do come to break it apart to get some more volume, because of the gel cast and how stiff it is, it just doesn't look good. It still remains flat, but frizzy and flat, which is like a weird combination. Usually when you get frizz, you get volume, but I find when you use a gel for a braid out, you get frizz and flatness, which is just not the look that I'm sure anyone is going for with a braid out. I've heard that mousses and foams are great for braid outs and twist outs as well. I've always been skeptical about that, but I do really want to try it. So the next thing that I'm going to experiment with when it comes to braid outs is trying mousses and foams. So I will let you know how that goes when I do end up trying it. Another big tip that I've learned over the months and years of doing braid outs is to not use too much product. In my previous braid out tips video, I was talking about using the lock method or LCO method when applying my products for the braid out. I have completely scrapped that. I now only use one product when doing my braid outs, and they look and feel so much better and they last so much longer. And I think that is down to having less product on my hair. Okay, so on to drying and reducing drying time. I try to always wash and braid up my hair in the morning of a day where I'm not doing anything. That way I can allow my braids to air dry throughout the day as I'm getting on with whatever I'm doing whilst I'm in the house. My braids are free, they're out in the air, and they're drying throughout the day. So at night time, something that has also really helped reduce my drying time, I sleep on my oh so curly satin pillowcase. Oh so curly are the sponsors of this video. So the day that I wash and braid up my hair, that night all I do is sleep on my oh so curly satin pillowcase. I don't put anything over my head. I don't cover my braids. I don't use any bonnet or satin scarf or anything like that. I literally just sleep on my satin pillowcase. The pillowcases being made out of satin means that it doesn't absorb all the product and it doesn't absorb all the moisture from your hair. So you'll wake up and your hair still feels very much moisturized and the product is still very much in your hair. Also, satin reduces friction, so even if you do move around a lot when you sleep, because your hair is just slipping and gliding over the pillowcase, your hair is not going to be completely messed up in the morning, which is always a plus. These pillowcases by oh so curly, as you can see, are super easy to put on. They are reversible. They come in different colors. I've got the pink one, and on the other side is white. So you just pop it on. So you choose whatever color you want. You pop it on just over the pillowcase like this, and then you are good to go. Honestly, I sleep with this every night, and I don't know what I would do without my oh so curly satin pillowcase. Even if I go to sleep at a friend's house or in a hotel or something, this pillowcase, it will come with me. So then the next morning, after having slept on my oh so curly satin pillowcase, my braids will be dry. They still look very tidy in the morning because of the satin. So by now my braids will be dry and ready to take down, which leads nicely on to tips all about the braid takedown process. The main tip for the braid down process, you probably already know what I'm going to say. You need to make sure your braids are dry. It is the worst thing ever. I feel frustrated just thinking about it. It is the worst thing ever when you go to take down your braids and then you get to a certain point and you feel they're wet and you're just like, great. It completely ruins your braid out when you take your braids down too early. If you take your braids down when they're not dry, it's a wrap. It's all over. So you need to be making sure that your braids are dry before you take them down. The way that I test that is, especially at the root, which is the bit that takes longest for my hair to dry, is I squeeze the braids. If I hear any sort of squelching noise, I know that they're not dry. Also, if I'm unsure, I'll kind of like wriggle my finger into the gaps in the braid and like feel and see if there's any moisture. Yeah, if they're not dry, I will not take down my braids. And there are occasions when I'm wanting to take my braids down, but they're not completely dry yet. So if that does happen, I'll get my blow dryer with a diffuser on and I'll kind of just sit there and allow my braids to dry in the heat from the blow dryer. So when actually taking down your braids, you need to gently unravel from the ends up. That sounds obvious, but I do see some people taking down their braids by pulling it apart from the root. One, that's going to cause breakage, which nobody wants. And two, that is gonna ruin your definition, it's gonna cause more frizz, and your braid out just won't look good. Another key tip to make your braid out look good on day one and to get the most volume with the definition and no frizz is so I start from the back and I take my braids out from the back up to the front. So once I've taken out the first row of hair, I will separate the braids, I'll unravel the braids, then I'll separate the sections to get more volume. Then I will also get my wide tooth comb or afro pick and I'll pick out that section before I unravel any other braids. That way, it stops me from having to unravel all my braids and then go back to the back of my hair, separate them and fluff them. So it's like a less manipulation, so it means less frizz. And I feel like because you're going section by section, you're only working on a very small section at a time, which again, you have more control, which means less breakage, less frizz, and it just looks better overall. And my final tip for the braid takedown process is to not apply any product to the length of your hair on the first day that you take down your braids. It just shouldn't need it. Your hair has been sat soaking up the product all night. So then when you take down your hair, even if you can't feel any product residue, that doesn't necessarily mean that your hair is dry. Your hair shouldn't feel brittle. And if it does, that's another problem that you need to address. So in terms of the braid out, just try to avoid applying product on the first day that you take down your braids. Times when I've done a braid out and I've literally not applied any product to my hair for a week is when my hair looks better for the whole week. So how do I make my braid out last for the whole week? I can hear you asking through the screen. So that leads on to the maintenance of a braid out. I do actually have a video showing you exactly what I do to my hair every single day and how I made my braid out last for 10 days. So I show what I do in the morning and I show what I do at night. So if you are interested in that in more detail, then I will link that here. But in short, I do the absolute minimum for the maintenance of a braid out. I find that the less that I do, the better my hair looks, the better my hair feels, and the longer it lasts. So just to reiterate what I was saying earlier, I do not apply product to my hair every day. I probably only apply product on day 4 or 5, and even then it's like the tiniest amount and I just scrunch it through my ends. But then that's about it. The only time that I actually apply a significant amount of product is when I refresh my braid out. So I re-soak my hair and I re-braid my hair. So to be honest, that could even be on day 7 if I manage to stretch my braid out a lot, but it would never be before day 4 or 5. But apart from that, I try to avoid applying any sort of product to the length of my hair. If I want to style my hair, then I'll apply some gel to the edges and the front and things like that. But when I say I don't apply any product, I mean I don't apply any product to the length of my hair. So in terms of sleeping and maintaining my braid out, what I do is I pull it up on top of my head and I wrap a satin scrunchie around it once in like a loose bun. I then use a satin bonnet on top of that, pop it on, and then I sleep on my satin pillowcase. My satin scrunchie that I use and the satin bonnets that I use are also from Oh So Curly. Then the next morning, what I do is I take off my bonnet, take off the satin scrunchie, give my hair a shake, you know, fluff it out with my fingers, grab a wide tooth comb and then get some shape back if I need to. Again, I try not to do too much because you don't want to disturb the curls too much and you don't want to cause too much frizz. So I tried to do the absolute minimum to get the shape and the volume that I want. And yeah, apart from that, there's not really anything else that I do to maintain my braid out. Simplicity. I try to keep it quick and simple because afro hair, it doesn't have to take over your life. I know it is more time consuming than other hair textures, but I like to keep it as simple as possible. So yeah, that's all my tips for now, I think. Again, I do have another braid out tips video, so if you feel like you need some more tips, go and check that one out as well. If I've missed anything and you have any questions about braid outs, please do drop them in the comments below. Be sure to use my discount code AbbyCurls10 on Oh So Curly to get some satin pillowcases, scrunchies, bonnets, everything that you could possibly need for your hair, they have. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you found it helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.